Ranting, reflecting, reasoning, reckoning. The Huddle.
Monday evening on the Huddle this evening, Cameron Slater, whaleoil.co.nz. Hello, Cam.
Hey, Larry.
And we have Josie Pagani. Hello, Josie.
Hi,
Good
Larry.
evening to you, Josie.
Hey, Josie.
Josie, to you first tonight. This mountain biker in court today, what was his name? Aaron Dalton, anyway. This is the bike rage on the Port Hills. I think was across the television channels at the time. Anyway, his lawyer is perplexed by the interest in all of this, seems to be blaming the social media. He just says it's another spat. Well, you know, as I understand it, he floored the guy or whatever. What do you see in it?
Yeah, well, welcome to the modern world, really. I mean, if you behave like a stupid idiot in public, chances are someone's going to film you on their phone these days. So whether you're knocking kids over in a skate park or attempting to strangle people on a mountain bike track, you're going to get filmed. In fact, I wondered if it's perhaps maybe the new weapon of choice. You know, we should give police cell phones and cameras instead of tasers and guns. And they can just say, stop that, or you will be uploaded to YouTube, because it's a way of kind of keeping behaviour appropriate out in the public, isn't it?
Yeah. Josie, a camera on the taser, you see.
A camera on the taser.
Correct.
Yeah,
well, I think they've got cameras on the taser anyway. What do you see in it, Cameron?
I always like to, when they have these cases, to use their full name. Aaron William Dalton, 45. It's great how they always do that. Look, the guy was a fool, and he got caught out bashing someone with a camera, and the guy was smart enough to chuck it on YouTube first before doing anything else. And it generated some interest. It became public interest then that here's an assault. The evidence was irrefutable. The police went along and dealt to him.
Actually, I have started this hobby, Larry, of filming stupid signs that you see in motels or cafes for people who just should not be in hospitality, and shaming them on blogs and things. Because, for example, I went into a motel the other day and there was a sign up there saying, if you are caught swatting the mosquitoes, you will be charged for repainting the wall. So I actually think this is a fantastically democratic weapon that we've got. It's brilliant.
Well, Sheriff Joe does something similar with deadbeat dads that don't pay their child support. He publishes their photos on his blog. You know, I think there's a lot of merit in public shaming.
Yeah,
Sheriff
and
Joe,
the other one I had today was if you lose your loyalty card in a cafe, you're going to be charged $5 for a new one. That was in a cafe in Wellington. I thought it was meant to make me feel good, these loyalty cards. But yes, anyway.
Right. People power, eh? But Sheriff Joe, that's from Arizona, Cameron, is it?
That's right.
Same guy?
Same guy.
Yeah. Now, do they have cameras on tasers? I suppose they do.
They do. They have them on police cars. They have them on tasers. You just go onto YouTube and you can see any number of police videos that chasing stupid people. Right. It's hilarious.
And that's where you go and watch stupid people.
We have to be on our best behaviour now, though, don't we, Cam? We can't behave badly in public.
No, that's right.
All right, we'll come back in just a moment. Cameron Slater and Josie Pagani with me. News Talk ZB, it's now 16 to 6. It's 14 to 6 back on the Huddle with Cameron Slater and Josie Pagani. Cameron, to you first. MMP submissions, let's face it, everybody's in it for themselves, so it's self-preservation. It looks like they're just debating around the edges anyway.
I mean, I don't think there's any meaningful submissions have been made from the political parties. National has gone for the status quo, which shows that they haven't actually got anybody in the party that's thinking long-term about the interests of the party. They're rather just dithering along, thinking that they're geniuses because they won the last two elections. You've got Labour with naked self-preservation there, wanting to get rid of the likes of ACT and United Future, forgetting, of course, that they used Peter Dunne themselves, and also Jim Anderton on the single-seat sort of deal. So that's naked self-interest.
Everyone's used Peter Dunne.
like a cheap date, isn't he?
Really? And Winston Peters,
And then you've got, I think the most useful contribution has been from Graham Edgler, and although I don't agree with him politically, he does tend to have some sensible ideas, and his idea is to remove the threshold entirely so that seats are actually related. Basically, if you get 0.8%, you get one seat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think, Josie?
Well, it's a bit like putting the fox in charge of the hen house, isn't it, when you get politicians setting their own electoral law. I'm not sure it's a good look. And you're right, Larry, they're dressing the self-interest up in some kind of noble principle. So you've got the likes of ACT saying that the so-called Epsom clause, which is, of course, this one-seat threshold that Cam's talking about, where you can forgo the rule of 5% of party vote to get into Parliament if you win an electorate seat. And they think this is the greatest contribution to democracy since women got the vote. And then you've got the National Party coming in behind them saying, yes, the great thing about the so-called Epsom clause, the one-seat threshold, is it helps to increase diversity, and this is all wonderful. And I'm thinking, well, what diversity? I don't think John Banks, you could really call him as a representative of great diversity.
Yeah, but we're actually talking about the argument, not Banks in particular. Sorry, Cameron?
Sorry, mate. White middle-class New Zealand needs to be represented. They're underrepresented.
Oh, absolutely, yes, but I don't think we need sort of special rules to represent white middle-class New Zealand to get them into Parliament.
Yeah, but it's not about Banks, Josie. I mean, get away from Banks, get away from Dunn. It's about the principle of the thing because, you know,
Yeah.
Look, this is the problem that was highlighted all along, though, in the lead-up to the referendum, where National didn't engage at all. Labor and the Greens and the unions, through naked self-interest, spent up a reasonable amount of money and time on this. And it was pointed out all the way through that allowing politicians to review the rules that govern how they get elected was a little bit farcical. And now we're going to see that.
I think that if you look at what the public think, most people in the polls are saying they don't like the one-seat threshold because they didn't like the images of a national candidate in Epsom running around taking his own billboards out, for goodness sake, and campaigning to lose the seat. They don't like the sort of dodgy deals that go on either side.
All right, yeah, it goes on everywhere. Look, just a quick, I've got to go. Cameron, what do you make of this Peter Slipper, the Australian speaker, the investigator of his taxi chits and sexual harassment? This is weird.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is a guy who's probably been doing this for a long, long time. He left the Liberals under a cloud. There's talk now that they were well aware of his proclivities back then and were looking at getting rid of him. He left the Liberals, propped up Julia Gillard's government, and now you're going to see true political retribution like only the Australians can deliver. And you're going to see everything come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I think when you've got the words twink, bear, massage and speaker in one sentence, you know that Mr. Speaker's got a problem with his slippery Peter. It's not good. Doesn't look good, does it?
You have a good evening. That is Cameron Slater and Josie Pagani. News Talk ZB, it's now 10 to 6.